Take a slow, unforced breath and let your eyes close in this darkness. You have finally found this quiet room and you are safe within this space. There will be no sudden jumps in volume, no loud interruptions, and no mid-roll ads to wake you up. Everything in this environment was built to help your mind fully let go. I know how exhausting it is to spend your day being your own most ruthless judge. Your body is lying down, but your brain is still spinning from the noise of self-criticism. I know that exact struggle because I lie awake in this same dark room, using these sounds to survive. Tonight, you do not have to review mistakes or justify your existence to that harsh voice. We are locking the gates to the outside world, and nobody can demand your energy here. Let the continuous, soft rhythm of the rain wash away the residual debris of today's sharp words. Your active shift of constant self-correction is over, and the protective night shield is active. You have done enough. You have fought enough, and you are permitted to exist without conditions. Let us begin by acknowledging the tight knot of anxiety locking your chest and jaw. You are still trying to defend against your own thoughts, even while resting quietly in the dark. Your mind keeps replaying interactions, trying to patch the holes in your invisible daily armor. But this midnight hour is a neutral sanctuary where your flaws have no power to hurt. The quiet world will spin perfectly without your perfection, allowing your hands to drop the reins. Listen closely to how the cold drops of rain against the window challenge your need for certainty. The rain does not judge its direction, it just falls beautifully and trusts the gravity of the earth. Your exhausted nervous system is warmly invited to follow this organic rhythm of complete surrender. The frantic urgency to fix your personality before morning arrives is a trap born from fatigue. You are completely permitted to leave the unwritten chapters of your destiny blank tonight. Feel the comforting, thick density of the dark air settling over your shoulders like a protective hand. The desperate daily habit of hyper-focusing on flaws is losing its anxious necessity right now. My velvet whisper is here to act as an anchor, a reminder that you are no longer on trial. The demanding, critical roles you play for society are dissolving into the long shadows of the room. You do not have to improve yourself in this sanctuary. You are allowed to be quiet. There is a profound healing medicine in realizing that you are helpless against the events of tomorrow. No amount of nighttime overthinking can alter a single second of the mistakes from yesterday. Realizing this absolute truth is not a defeat, it is the most beautiful liberation your soul can experience. You can finally stop fighting the natural flow of time and pushing so hard against reality. The peaceful kingdom we are entering requires nothing from your intellect except your willing surrender. Watch from a quiet, detached distance how your old thoughts try to maintain their grip on your brain. They tell you that if you stop criticizing your actions, everything around your life will crumble. But that is just the defensive, scared whisper of an ego that was forced to be strong for too long. You can gently smile at that outdated mechanism and whisper back that its service is over tonight. The heavy, loud machinery of daily survival is slowing down, its metallic gears turning completely quiet. The deep, expanding ambient pads are smoothing out the narrow spaces between your anxious memories. Where there used to be a tight, painful knot of self-doubt, a cool emptiness is beginning to spread. Your brain is slowly realizing that it is completely hidden away from the prying eyes of the crowd. You are wrapped in an invisible cloak of non-responsibility, a sacred vacation from your identity. The constant draining need to justify your worth through productivity is melting into the dark, wet night. Let the physical weight of your tired limbs confess how deeply exhausted your inner spirit has been. You carried the heavy expectations of so many people and anticipated so many imaginary emergencies today. But within the secure, unbreakable boundaries of this shelter, your only remaining duty is to breathe. The quiet air you inhale is pure light and entirely empty of the toxic static of hypervigilance. We are leaving the shores of judgment behind, moving steadily toward the silent, deep, and peaceful waters. Let us sit quietly together and look directly at the heavy shadow of your inner critic. This relentless, judging voice in your head has masqueraded as your ultimate protector for many years. It told you that constant self-punishment was the only way to secure love and success in this world. But tonight, in the safety of this dark bedroom, we can finally unmask this false accuser. You can see it now as just a tired, terrified fragment of your own overstimulated nervous system. The heavy words it used against you today were not absolute truths written in the stone. They were merely echoes of ancient fears, old rejections, and the unrealistic expectations of other people. You have carried these borrowed judgments in your quiet chest, believing they belonged to your true soul. But you are not the harsh, critical commentary that continuously runs through your crowded mind. You are the silent, peaceful awareness that is simply listening to my velvet voice right now. Feel the beautiful relief of dropping the constant need to defend your character against yourself. The inner trial has been permanently suspended, and the self-appointed judge has stepped down. Your mind keeps trying to build a complex case, analyzing every mistake you think you made today. But the cool night has invalidated the entire courtroom, wrapping your spirit in total amnesty. The falling rain outside is melting the rigid evidence of your perceived failures into nothingness. I know the exact exhaustion of waking up to face a mind that refuses to grant you peace. I know how heavy the eyelids feel when your own thoughts are pointing out your every flaw. But right now, the protective night shield is intercepting those sharp accusations before they reach you. You do not have to fix your flaws, change your past, or apologize for being human tonight. Your only spiritual assignment in this sacred hour is to let your heavy body sink down. Watch how the internal noise begins to lose its terrifying authority when you refuse to fight it. The critical thoughts are just harmless passing clouds drifting across the vast sky of your consciousness. They have no real power to hurt your core unless you feed them with your valuable energy. Let the deep, soothing, ambient pads submerge the last remaining fragments of that internal friction. The narrow, anxious spaces in your brain are widening, filling with a soft and cooling quietness. Your active ego has been running on the pure survival instinct for far too many hours today. It believed that if it stopped criticizing your actions, your entire life would instantly fall apart. But that is just a desperate illusion, born from your deep, unaddressed physical and mental fatigue. The world is operating perfectly without your constant surveillance, allowing your hands to rest. You can safely lay down your weapons and trust the immense stability of this dark sanctuary. Let the heavy gravity of this comfortable mattress claim the full weight of your tired limbs. Every muscle in your face is softening, releasing the tight armor of your daily social expressions. You are no longer the responsible worker, the perfect friend, or the manager of endless crises. You are beautifully stripped of all titles, becoming completely anonymous in this dark, velvety room. The demanding roles you play for society have dissolved into the long, motionless shadows. The continuous, rhythmic sound of the wet rain is creating an absolute perimeter of safety around you. It washes over the window, drowning out the lingering static of your daily self-doubts and fears. You are perfectly insulated inside this warm cocoon, hidden away where no judgment can ever reach. The constant draining necessity to prove your worth through productivity is fading into the night. Your breathing is slowing down naturally, finding its own deep, ancient, and unforced rhythm. The internal critic is growing fainter now, its harsh voice losing its clarity in the quietness. It is turning into a meaningless, distant murmur that cannot disturb your profound sense of peace. You are moving steadily away from the analytical mind, stepping toward your truest, untouched essence. The deep gates of a restorative, dreamless sleep are waiting just ahead in the soft stillness. The fortress will remain firm, holding the chaotic world at bay while your spirit finally rests. Step completely over the threshold into this vast, quiet sanctuary of unconditional acceptance. This is the one sacred room where you never have to earn your right to exist or be protected. Every mistake you think you made today is instantly stripped of its power to cause you pain here. The heavy, demanding conditions that the outside world placed upon your spirit have completely vanished. In this deep darkness, your exhaustion is not seen as a failure. It is welcomed as a holy truth. Let the heavy, invisible armor you wore to survive the daylight hours fall softly to the floor. You do not need to present a perfect, flawless version of yourself to this magnificent silence tonight. The quiet room accepts the broken fragments, the unresolved doubts, and the deep fatigue in your chest. You are warmly permitted to be completely weak, completely empty, and completely real in this space. The need to fix your life has ground to a total halt, leaving only the raw beauty of your presence. I know the suffocating weight of feeling like you must always be strong for everyone around you. I know how lonely it is to hold your world together while your own mind is quietly breaking apart. But right here, in this shared stillness, you are allowed to completely let go of that crushing duty. You are not responsible for managing the universe tonight. Your active shift has permanently ended. The walls of this sanctuary are thick, holding the chaotic noise of society infinitely far away. Listen to how the continuous, rhythmic falling of the rain validates your need for total rest. The rain does not demand a single thing from you. It just creates a thick blanket of sonic peace. Your tired nervous system is absorbing this pure, organic frequency of safety with every slow breath. The sharp, stinging memories of criticism are being gently dissolved in this heavy, dark washing. Where there used to be a tight knot of performance anxiety, a beautiful softness is expanding. Let your consciousness drift like a weightless leaf down into the deep, cooling pool of your true self. You are moving away from the superficial layers of your personality and your daily achievements. Your social status, your bank accounts, and your complicated human history mean nothing to this darkness. You are returning to the original, pure essence that existed before the world taught you to fear. The infinite safety of this velvet vacuum is wrapping around your weary soul like a garment. Watch how your remaining thoughts try to tell you that you are still not doing enough to succeed. That is just the outdated, frantic programming of an ego that has forgotten how to feel safe. You can gently breathe through that old anxiety, refusing to give it your valuable attention tonight. The deep, expanding ambient pads are swallowing the last residual vibrations of that mental static. The space between your eyes is softening, releasing the invisible grip of a 12-hour tension. Every breath you draw into your lungs is an unconditional gift of life that requires no justification. You do not have to prove your worth to the darkness. You are worthy simply because you are breathing. Allow the heavy gravity of the bed to pull the deep-seated exhaustion completely out of your shoulders. Your physical body is turning into a hollow channel for this continuous, soothing stream of rest. The boundaries of your skin are melting into the dark room, blending perfectly with the silence. The frantic urgency to improve your character before the morning sun arrives has completely died away. Tomorrow will handle its own complexities, and its heavy events are entirely outside your control right now. Surrendering your need for absolute certainty is the ultimate medicine your spirit has been crying for. You are safe to let the unwritten chapters of your future remain completely dark and unvisited. The peaceful kingdom of sleep is opening its wide gates, inviting your soul to step inside. My voice is becoming a distant, warm echo that floats gently on the edge of your fading awareness. It is changing into a harmless part of the rain, a soft reminder that you are never truly alone. The sanctuary is fully built, the fortress is holding firm, and your mind is completely protected. Yield entirely to the magnificent, heavy darkness that is calling you down into the deepest peace. The noise of judgment is gone, and only the beautiful, quiet rhythm of your resting soul remains. The majestic night protection shield is now fully activated and floating directly over your quiet bedroom. This brilliant barrier of absolute peace completely isolates your resting mind from the ghost of guilt. Any lingering thoughts of what you should have done differently today are softly bouncing off its surface. The sharp, invisible arrows of your old regrets can no longer penetrate this thick perimeter of darkness. You are beautifully hidden away from your own memory, wrapped inside a cocoon of bulletproof safety. Let the heavy shadow of yesterday's choices dissolve into the continuous sound of the wet rain. Your overstimulated brain has spent hours trying to settle accounts that cannot be settled in the dark. But the midnight hour has officially declared a total moratorium on all your moral debts and obligations. You are not required to punish your spirit tonight in order to compensate for being an imperfect human. My warm voice is standing as a vigilant guard at the gates, turning away every critical thought. Feel the physical relief as the heavy, invisible armor around your solar plexus completely uncoils. The constant, painful tension of trying to anticipate every potential disaster is leaving your chest. You do not have to hold the sky up anymore. The dark gravity of the earth has taken the weight. Your tired body is no longer a tool for fixing things. It is just pure resting energy tonight. The bed beneath you is absorbing your exhaustion, sinking you down into a limitless, dark ocean. Listen to how the deep, expanding ambient pads are smoothing over the rough edges of your mind. Every slow, rhythmic breath you take is drawing the cooling essence of this sanctuary into your lungs. You are safely stepping completely outside of your human history, your name, and your daily responsibilities. The heavy expectations that people placed on your shoulders are melting into the motionless shadows. There is no audience in this room, no one to judge your progress, and no one to disappoint. The desperate, anxious habit of monitoring your own worth is losing its necessity in this darkness. You can gently drop the exhausting project of trying to improve your character before morning comes. The quiet world is spinning perfectly without your control, leaving you completely free to just exist. Your weary mind is warmly invited to leave the unwritten chapters of your future entirely untouched. The threshold of a deep, restorative sleep is right before you, waiting for your soft surrender. Watch from a safe, detached distance how your old fears try to whisper that you are still unsafe. That is just the echo of an exhausted nervous system that has been running on high alert for too long. You can look at that defensive mechanism with deep compassion and tell it that the shift is over. The heavy, loud machinery of your daily survival has ground to a complete halt in this stillness. Only the pure, untroubled silence remains, wrapping your consciousness in a heavy blanket of rest. The narrow, tight spaces inside your skull are beautifully opening up and expanding tonight. where there used to be a sharp knot of self-doubt, a magnificent and safe emptiness is spreading. You are wrapped in an invisible cloak of absolute non-responsibility, a sacred vacation from your identity. The constant draining need to justify your existence through your productivity is completely gone. Your breathing has found its own ancient, unforced cadence, synchronizing with the falling rain. Let the comforting density of the dark air settle over your face, releasing the tension in your eyes. Your weary jaw is relaxing completely, dropping the invisible mask you wore during the daylight hours. You are no longer the active manager of your life. You are a silent passenger in the night. The demanding roles you played for society have dissolved into the vast and quiet texture of this room. You are allowed to be completely quiet, completely imperfect, and beautifully protected in this space. My velvet voice is growing smaller now, drifting far away into the rich, dark background pads. It is changing into a harmless, distant murmur that gently carries your spirit toward the deep void. The sanctuary is fully built, the fortress is silent, and your mind is completely free from judgment. Yield entirely to the magnificent gravity of sleep, letting the dark waters close over your thoughts. The long journey through the mental storm is officially over, and you are finally arriving home. The final boundaries of your analytical mind are completely softening into this velvet void. You are stepping off the last remaining shores of thought and entering the deep waters. There is no longer an inner critic to silence, as the voice itself has dissolved into darkness. The long, exhausting trial of your identity has reached its absolute and permanent conclusion. Your spirit is beautifully weightless, drifting effortlessly into the wide arms of the night. Let the continuous, comforting rhythm of the rain take complete ownership of this quiet room. The wet drops against the glass are singing a dark lullaby to your weary nervous system. You have successfully laid down every single weapon, every defense, and every heavy memory. The sanctuary has completely absorbed your presence, leaving only the soft cadence of your breath. It is entirely safe to surrender your remaining awareness to this magnificent, clean emptiness. I know how deeply your soul has been crying out for this exact moment of total release. I know the beautiful relief of finally knowing that you do not have to be anyone tonight. The heavy roles, the daily judgments, and the exhausting expectations are completely gone. You are floating in a safe, warm vacuum where human errors have no meaning or power. The protective night shield is standing firm, sealing your consciousness in a capsule of peace. Feel the immense dark gravity of the earth pulling you down into the deepest layers of rest. Your physical body has turned completely hollow, a quiet vessel for this soothing ambient wash. Every muscle in your face, your tired jaw, and your eyes have completely given up the fight. The narrow, anxious spaces of your daily life are widening into an infinite, silent universe. You are perfectly anonymous, perfectly hidden, and perfectly ready to let everything go. The urgent need to understand or fix your destiny has vanished into the shadows of the bed. Tomorrow remains a distant, unwritten chapter that cannot touch your profound stillness right now. You have paid all your debts to the daylight hours, and your soul is completely clean. Let the deep, expanding ambient pads submerge the last drifting fragments of your human thoughts. The line between your quiet mind and the beautiful night is fading into nothingness. My voice is growing incredibly small now, melting slowly into the continuous sound of the rain. It is changing from a conscious stream of words into a soft, comforting vibration of safety. You do not need to listen to the specific meanings anymore. Just follow the gentle rhythm. The fortress of your rest is unbreakable, and you are being carried away by a dark tide. The long, heavy journey through the mental noise is over, and your mind is resting. Sink down through the soft cushions of awareness into the dreamless, beautiful depths of sleep. Let the heavy, velvety darkness close completely over the last spark of your active intellect. You are entirely safe, unconditionally loved, and completely protected by this magnificent silence. The internal courtroom is empty, the judge is asleep, and the critic has vanished forever. Yield your entire spirit to the beautiful gravity of this endless, restorative night. Sleep. Let the deep, quiet waters of a perfect rest wash over your tired limbs and chest. Sleep. The rain will continue to watch over your room, holding the chaotic world infinitely far away. Sleep. Sleep. The night shield is active, and your mind is completely free from the shadow of judgment. Sleep. Lose yourself entirely in this magnificent, safe void where only peace remains. Sleep.